right, looking at the fast facts here for the town portion, I think this is really important this year. Something that is nice as part of this insert is the fast facts piece, but we had talked about this during the tax bill breakdown. You're actually breaking it down by a couple of years back in this fast fact sheet. But for those not familiar, what are we looking at here? And more importantly, what are those comparisons? Why are they in there?
Yes, so this is a separate insert that was created just for those parcels or property that used to be in the town of Madison that are now here in the city of Fitchburg. And so this insert was sent out with all of the tax bills, and it follows a very similar format to what the city of Fitchburg generally does, but it probably looks quite different than what you had gotten in the past from the town of Madison. I'm going to bet it has a lot of similar information, but it looks a little bit different. So one of the things we like to do here at Fitchburg is we include on this right-hand column of the first page these fast facts. So this is information that talks about, how much value was transferred over to the city of Fitchburg from the town, how many parcels were included in there, the average home. One other interesting thing is we talked during that tax bill section about 2020's tax bill versus 21 versus 22. For these fast facts, I tried to include all three of those years because 2021 was a bit of an anomaly with the use of fund balance to drop the town's portion. So here you can see the overall tax rates for each one of those years. So the green numbers are 2020, blue would be 21, and purple would be 22. So you can see that there was that dip there in 2021, but 2022 is back to what the trend line would have been without that dip. So also on here, there's two other things that are different for the town of Madison properties. One is we included those utility billing changes. So I talked about those a little bit during that tax bill segment that we did, but summarize the information here as well, and then also included a link if you have more questions. And then in this big box on the bottom, this is the separate City of Fitchburg website that was created to talk about services provided and frequently asked questions and all of that for any prior town resident or property taxpayer that is now part of the City of Fitchburg. So if you head out to this website, there is a lot of information out there that will hopefully help make sure you are informed about what the changes are and have been.
It is kind of nice to get a kind of an overall picture of what happened across the city of Fitchburg, because when you're looking at your own bill, you're like, wait, what? But actually, in all reality, you're working collectively here on paying your portion. So let's break down just a couple of areas here that are on the insert. The first and most important one is, how do I pay my taxes, Misty?
Yeah, so a lot of property owners use escrow companies. So if you do use an escrow, it may come to us directly or it may go to you. If you get an escrow check sent to you, please double check and make sure who that check is made out to. So if it's made out to you and the city, we're going to need you to endorse that so that we can deposit that into our bank account. If it's made out to just the city, obviously that's fine, just get the check to us. Or if it's made out to you or the city, that also is fine, and we can deposit that. But if it's made out to both of us, please double check and make sure you endorse it so that we can process it appropriately. So escrow checks are very common. Just general checks are also very common. So we can take checks by mail. We are open during normal business hours, 7:30 to 4:30 if you want to come pay in person. You can also do online payments. Credit card payments are 2.75% convenience fee that has to be paid. But if you are willing to do an e-check or an ACH payment, it only costs you $1 to pay online. You'll get your receipt right away, and then we can import those into our system. So that is an option there as well. And then if you want to pay outside of normal hours but don't want to mail it in, we do have a 24/7 drop box in the foyer of City Hall. So you go into that first set of doors and there's a drop box there. You can't get into the second set into the building, but that foyer area is always open and you can drop payments there.
Remember, no cash in the Dropbox, though. We don't like cash in the Dropbox. When I read that story all the time, I'm always like, no cash. Now it's like it just instilled in my brain that you don't want to put cash in the Dropbox, or mail cash for that matter.
Exactly. If you want to pay by cash, you're definitely going to want to do that in person, just so you can get your receipt right away and have that documentation.
And follow-up question too, if you do it like it's done by escrow and you don't touch it, is there a way to get a receipt or confirmation? Should folks can they call the office and say, hey, Misty, did they pay me it yet?
Yeah, so there's ways to get an electronic receipt, which is probably the best option. So Access Stain, which is the county's website, that's where all of the tax bills are loaded. You can see all of the property information. We'll also upload all of the receipts there after we go through settlement. So any payments that the city of Fitchburg has in our hands by the end of December will be uploaded as receipts to Access Stain in the middle of January. And then any payments that we have by the end of January will be uploaded to Access Stain in the middle of February. So if you can be patient, that's the easiest way to do it. You would just look for your property, you can search by key number, by name, by address, and there's a receipt that you can get there. If you don't want to wait for those to be uploaded, you could come into City Hall and we will print one for you and give it to you. Or if you may, or drop it off. If you include a self-addressed stamped envelope, we will print a receipt off and mail that off to you. But we do need you to put in that self-addressed stamped envelope if you want us to mail it out.
Thank you for breaking that down. Moving to the back side of our insert here, it's got more of the facts on the breakdowns. And again, these will look a little bit different if you're looking at the town of Madison tax insert versus our insert here on the city of Fitchburg side. But what makes up a tax bill? We kind of talk about it when we break down the tax bill, but it definitely is helpful if you're a new homeowner. We had a lot of new homeowners take occupancy this year. Tell us about this breakdown.
Yeah, so while the city of Fitchburg collects and sends out the bills, the bulk of your tax bill actually goes towards the school district. So about 47% on average goes to the school district, and the city of Fitchburg is about 35% of the bill. Dane County and Madison College being the other two pieces. So we always include this pie chart so you can visually see what those different components are.
Yeah, it's good to understand that. And again, you can see that breakdown by each area on your tax bill for sure. What about change of address or name on the tax bill?
Yeah, so if you want to actually change the name on your tax bill or the property address, that would need to go through the county. But if you want to change your mailing address, that you could submit to us, either email it to us or check the box on your bill or your remittance when you send that in, and we can make that mailing address change.
Easy peasy. I like that. Lottery credit, really important. We pointed this out on the tax bill as well, but explain what it is and how you can get signed up for it.
Yeah, so anybody that lived in your property as of 1/1/22 as your primary residence, I want you to go to your tax bill, bottom right corner-ish, and make sure that you are receiving the lottery credit. The dollar amount varies each year and varies by school district, but right now it's about $300 that you can get as a credit off your bill, less money that you have to pay in taxes, all by filling out a very simple form. So make sure you're eligible. Again, primary residence as of the first of the year. If it's not on there and should be, give us a call. You can find the form on our website and just mail that really simple form in with your payment or bring it ahead of time, and we'll make sure you get your credit.
Fantastic. Another one that you'd see in your tax bill under what I would say is the net area of the tax bill would be the tax PU. Funny that it says PU, but really it is tax pickup. Tell us about this special charge.
Yeah, so tax pickup is a charge on most of the residential bills. So any single family or duplex homes do have this special charge on the bill. For this year, it's $228. It is an increase from last year of about 6% because of the additional costs that we're paying to Pelletary, who provides that trash and recycling service for us. But you'll see that on your bill, that is the charge for 2023's service.
All right, and that's good to know. And again, all of this there is just included in this insert. There are also some other things that I just want to point out that are not necessarily related to the tax bill, but kind of coincide with the year, and that would be the dog and pet license. So it's not actually on the tax bill, but is still something that you got to take care of.
Yeah, so in past years, we would have included a pet card, which was a form that you had to fill out to let us know that you had a pet, and it was your way to get a license for your dog or your cat. This year, we are transitioning to a new online system. So we are working through some logistics with there. We expect to have it ready to go soon, but those pet cards were not included in the tax bills because that's not the process being used anymore. And if you have questions on that, here's the website, fitchburgwi.gov/pet license, that has a lot of up-to-date information about, how we're going to use this new software, what you need to do to get your license, how it's going to work, and then also whether or not you need a license for your animal.
All right, perfect. Well, Misty, appreciate your time as always. As we wrap up here, again, your folks are there to answer questions. You can find these resources on the website at fitchburgwi.gov. But any final comments here when it comes to questions about your tax bills?
Just give us a call if you do have questions. The amount of taxes that we collect is all based on the budget that is adopted. So if you have questions about where your tax money goes, make sure to check out the budget documents for not just the city of Fitchburg, but also the school, the county, and the tech college. That's where you can see exactly where your money is being spent.
All right, Misty, thank you for your help as always. We'll check back with you next year.
Thank you, Jeremy.